All right, so apart from that also, the other top story that we have for you is the High Court is this morning hearing the case by the opposition coalition, NASA, challenging the award of the paper printing tender to Dubai-based Al Ghurair Printing. Chief Justice David Maraga appointed judges Joel Ngugi, George Odunga and Justice Mativo and directed them to hear the matter expeditiously. NASA is seeking to have the ballot printing tender cancelled. The opposition claims that the printers have a close relationship with President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is one of the candidates in the August election. The electoral agency on Sunday said that the ballot papers for all elective seats except for the president had already started to be printed. Those for the presidential elections will be printed from July 18th.
In a petition filed under certificate of urgency, the national...
Let's now speak to my colleague Rita Tinina joining us from the Milimani Law Courts. Rita, thank you very much for joining us. So has the session started and what are we expecting today? Court, and what really are we expecting? When will we have final judgment to this particular case? All right, we seem to be having a problem connecting to Rita, but we'll be doing so in a few minutes. But as we wait for that, this morning we're also talking about the rising cases of police officers committing suicide and killing their colleagues. The latest case being the suicide committed by an administration police officer attached to Takaungu AP post in Kilifi. He turned his G3 rifle on himself on the night of patrol duty with a colleague. Another officer from Baringo is still at large after he shot dead two of his colleagues and injured another in Baringo County in unclear circumstances. We want to have a conversation right here in studio. All right. I understand we have Rita Tinina. We apologize for that, but we'll be getting to the conversation shortly. But for now, let's just speak to Rita Tinina. Rita, thank you very much for joining us. So what can you tell us about a latest update to the case? So what are we expecting? And really, when are we expecting a judgment on this case?
It would be too early to say when we can expect a judgment. So far, remember, it was NASA which went to court. They filed their application. Normally, initially, when a case is being filed, they do the written submissions. They file that at the registry. The IEBC and the Al Ghurair have already filed their submissions as well, but it is NASA which will have the last word in this. So they're expected to file their submission at the registry. Before then, they can come to court and give their oral submissions. Right now, the lawyers are already in court. The case was set to start in the afternoon around 2:30, but the lawyer said we got a notification that the timing has now changed to 10:30 this morning. But we are still waiting for the session to kick off. One of the judges in the three-judge bench, that is Justice George Odunga, is still handling another case on the first floor of the Milimani Law Courts. We are on the third floor. That is where the case will be had. So the lawyers here, NASA being represented by James Orengo and Paul Mwangi, the IEBC has Kamau Karori, as well as Millie Ondari. Jubilee is being represented by Harrison Kenyanjui, and Al Ghurair is being represented by Wawero Gatonye. The other parties that have sought to be enjoined in the suit, Ekuru Aukot, he is here himself, and so we are waiting for the judges to come and the session to begin any time from now.
So far, maybe you could talk to us about the arguments. We've had NASA and what they have to say. They say that, with, the president having met Al Ghurair officials, it may give them an unfair advantage. What has the IEBC said so far about this? What is their stand?
The IEBC's argument is that they followed the laid-down regulations, the laid-down procedures. First of all, going through open tender, then through restricted tender. Betty, I think the session should be getting underway shortly. Just preparations there, I think, as the judges prepare to come in. But really, the IEBC arguing that it followed the procedures and it did not flout any procurement regulations. And so that is their main defense here. Al Ghurair, on its part, saying it submitted according to what the IEBC required in the procurement procedures, it was as well, in this argument, he says it was the lowest bidder in this procurement process.
All right, thank you very much, Rita Tinene. We'll let you concentrate on that session. She's joining us from the Milimani Law Courts today. And remember that the court is set to start hearing that case in regards to the ballot paper printing.